I want to start by thanking you for your work on the Environment and Public Works Committee. We did what some people think is the impossible. We passed a bill without one dissenting vote to move forward with a 6-year reauthorization of our highway and transit programs. And people say, how could this committee do it? You're so split on other issues. It's because we recognize, all of us, whether we're liberal, progressive, moderate, conservative, very conservative, that it is essential for our great nation to have an infrastructure that works. Madam President, last week, a bridge collapsed in California. It was a miracle no one was killed. And this bridge carries people from California to Arizona. And that means commerce goes through this bridge. That means passenger cars go through this. This is what happened. This is what it's about. It's not about what committees got in a room. It's not about Senator Cruz's ideological issues. It's not about any lobbyists. It's about the hard, cold facts, Madam President, that more than 60,000 of our bridges are structurally deficient. And it's very hard to go to bed at night knowing that we haven't done anything about this except just do these short-term extensions of the Highway Trust Fund, where states are simply not undertaking the kinds of projects they need to undertake, which is inspection of these kind of bridges and moving forward with repairing them and strengthening them. Madam President, the reason I have this here, to me, it's the poster child of why, on a bipartisan basis, we need to continue to move forward. Forget about the naysayers on the Democratic side. Forget about the naysayers on the Republican side. Let's have those of us who see this as the issue, not process, not sequester, which we have to solve. It's not part of this. We've got two bad problems facing us. The Highway Trust Fund that funds the transit and highway system, and sequester is another problem. If we can solve this problem now, let's solve this problem now. And we have a coming together, a very odd coalition here of Republicans and Democrats, despite the fact that I venture to say not one person loves this bill, because there's always going to be things in a bill you don't like. We stripped some of the pay-fors that were hurting our cities, and thanks to Senators Portman and Stabenow and Peters, that was done. That's good. And we have a bill that's fully paid for 3 years, the first time in 10 years. And we can always find problems. And we can always say, why are we doing this and not doing that? Well, the reason we're doing this is, if my numbers are right, we're sort of single digits away from the Highway Trust Fund going bust. It goes bust in July 31st, imagine. And we're fighting about this? We ought to be moving this fast. Oh no, we have a filibuster, we have to be in this weekend, but it's worth it. I asked my staff to figure it out. Over I think it's the 3-year period, it's 8 million jobs. 8 million jobs! That's how many jobs were lost in the Great Recession. Am I right on that number? Well, we'll go back and check the exact number. It's millions of jobs. And the fact of the matter is, those families are suffering still, 800,000 construction workers out of work. So we will put in the record the exact number of jobs. Now, I want to say this. When people say, well, the lobbyists are winning here, who are the people that are pushing us for a bill? And I would ask the American people, make your decision. The U.S. Chamber of Commerce, the International Union of Operating Engineers, the Laborers International Union of North America, the AAA, the U.S. Conference of Mayors, the United Brotherhood of Carpenters, the American Association of State Highway and Transit Officials, Mothers Against Drunk Driving, American Council of Engineering Companies. Before we go to the second chart, Andrew, I would just say to folks, this is a rare coming together of America, Madam President, you've been around here a while. It's hard to find the U.S. Chamber on the same page as the Laborers International and on the same page with Mothers Against Drunk Driving and the Conference of Mayors and engineering companies. I'm telling you, let's continue looking at this list. The American Highway Users Alliance, the American Public Transportation Association, the American Road and Transportation Builders, the Society of Civil Engineers, the American Truckers, the Associated Equipment Distributors, the General Contractors, the Equipment Manufacturers, the Association of Metropolitan Planning Organizations, the National Asphalt Paving Association. Madam President, labor has come together with business. Cities have come together with states. The users of the roads, the AAA, remember how we call them when our car breaks down, sometimes because it falls into a pothole and gets all messed up? The AAA, they want this done. And I'm saying this is an opportunity. So there are naysayers on everything. It is rare that we can come together and get anything done. This is one of those moments. I want to share with you the fact that on average, federal funds provide 52% of every state's outlays for highways and bridges. 52%, the average. There are some states that rely on the federal government more. I'll tell you who they are. Montana, 87% reliance on the federal government. Idaho, 68% reliance. Oregon, 54% reliance. Colorado, 64%. In other words, these states are counting on us. New Mexico, 70%. Minnesota, 64%. Missouri, 65%. Oklahoma, 63%. Mississippi, 65%. Alabama, 68%. Georgia, 62%. South Carolina, 79%. New Hampshire, 57%. Could you see if I'm doing this right, David? Vermont, 86%. I'm sorry, New Hampshire is 68%. Maine is 57%.
Correct.
Is that right?
Correct.
And Rhode Island counts on it for everything. Everything, 100% almost. Connecticut, 71%. D.C., 52%. I mean, Alaska, 93%. Hawaii, 79%. So West Virginia, I thought my friend would be interested, 61% reliance. So what I'm trying to say to you is, if we don't succeed in this and we give it a patch again, our states will shut down. Already 7 states have shut down their programs. They can't sign contracts to fix any bridge. Could we put up that bridge again? Because I really do think it's the poster child of why I'm standing up here. And if 7 states have already shut down, Madam President, and we do another extension, we are talking about hundreds of thousands of jobs bleeding. We'll spin back into a bad situation. I see Senator from Montana's here, and I was just going through the list and showing how our states do rely on this highway program. And Montana relies on it for 87% of their spending. The average in the country is 52%. But a lot of our western states that have so many miles, they rely on us more. My own state is 49%. But I got to tell you, we've got 40 million people. And if we're not getting 49% of what we are used to getting, we're shutting down a lot of programs. I say all the time, if you want to get a house and you go to the banker and he says, oh, you get a mortgage for 5 months, you're not going to buy the house. You're not going to buy the house. You're going to say, well, thank you for nothing. And that's the place we're at. So I know my colleague would like to have the floor, and I don't need to say anything else except We have been working so hard across the aisle, Senator Durbin and myself with Senator McConnell and Senator Inhofe. It has been a collaboration, and it has been difficult. We come to the table with different ideologies and different ideas. We've hammered it out, and we've hammered it out because none of us, whether we're a Republican or a Democrat, a moderate, a conservative, or a liberal, wants to see this happen again anywhere. And it is going to happen again. I can't tell you how shocked I was. Imagine anyone going to Arizona now has to go 400 miles out of their way. What does that do to commerce? What does that do to our truck drivers who are trying to deliver goods? What does that do to our tourist industry? How many people go back and forth? They are going to make a fix to this, but it's going to be a little tough because they're going to take one span and shut it down while they fix it, and the other one will be a one-way this way and that way. So it could be more dangerous. So I just say thank you to my Republican friends, to my Democratic friends. We have two amendments. One is the Ex-Im Bank. We'll vote on it on Sunday. Hopefully that will pass and be attached to this bill. It's an important jobs bill. And the other one is a Republican amendment to repeal Obamacare. And I'm not going to go into it today, but I got to say, the House has voted 55 times. The Supreme Court said it's fine. We're reaching 20 million Americans who now have health care. Why, as my friend, the Democratic leader said, why don't we just get together and make Obamacare better? I've met so many people that are thrilled to have insurance, but there are ways we can make it better. But to talk about repealing something that's already in law, it will be there. We can make it better. Let's not keep this repealing Obamacare idea out there because it would hurt too many people. It would create chaos. And I hope we'll vote against that and vote for Ex-Im. But much more important is we're going to see Senator Cruz and others who want to disrupt this offer a lot of irrelevant amendments. Amendments on Iran, amendments on a woman's right to choose. That's what's going to happen here. And the chair is going to rule accordance with precedent. And we're going to have to support the ruling of the chair. Oh, it's going to be a tough and messy process. Madam Chairman, somebody said to me, now that you're in the middle of this, is it true that passing a law is like making sausage? And I said, well, that would be an insult to sausage. That's how tough it is. It's tough. And, you know, last night at 11:30, 2012, I thought the deal was off. It's been tough. But we managed to come together. We don't want this to happen. We want to give certainty to the states. And I hope we will stick together as this, you know, strange coalition, because it is odd, of Republicans and Democrats. It's the way the Senate used to work, and get this done. Again, I want to thank all members, even the ones who have opposed me strongly and opposed Senator McConnell strongly. Thank you for, you know, for being here. And I hope you'll be here Sunday because we have a couple of very important votes. Thank you very much, Madam President. I yield the floor.